Hi there. Today we're going to go quickly over inflation, why that's important to you, the likelihood of a June rate cut, and what's happening in the Toronto housing market. Hi there. My name is Marcy Verber. I'm a realtor here in Toronto doing both commercial and residential transactions. And this recording is being done in April 2024. Okay, so today let's talk about inflation a little bit and why we care and why it's important for us in housing. So we have some really good news, and the good news is that both core inflation and headline inflation are staying below 3%. Core inflation excludes gasoline volatility, which is really good. And the government likes to see that the core inflation stays below 3%. I wanted to show you a couple of charts. The first one here, it shows that band of, we all know that we want inflation to be under 3%. We've heard it so much. This shows the band of where we should be. And then the graph shows kind of where we have been. Now, if you look at the next chart here, this shows us where inflation was before the pandemic, what happened where it dipped down at the beginning of the pandemic, and then where it really started to increase and build way out of range. Now, from August 2022 to April of 2023, we saw really significant increases in inflation. Now, the good news is that for about the past year, our inflation has been, pretty much consistent. It's been a little bit lower than it was over the pandemic. So that is good news in terms of us thinking about a rate cut. Now, I wanted to tell you also something really funny. So as you can see from this chart here, one of the things that's actually driving down inflation is men's clothing. I heard on the radio the other day, they were kind of joking and saying that a lot of men here are buying their clothes at Costco. So thanks, guys. If you're buying your clothes at Costco, maybe you're helping us drive down inflation by driving down the prices of men's clothes. I don't know. Okay. So why do we care about inflation? It's because we want to see a June rate cut. Many of us have mortgages or want to buy a home, and we need to see those interest rates starting to come down. And, we're hoping and trying to predict what the Bank of Canada is going to do. Because we thought we were going to have a rate decrease in April, and then June and this whole year was going to go down. And now it's not. Now, one of the main reasons that we didn't have that drop is because inflation in the US. Now, inflation in the US is causing some problems. And from our perspective, the Bank of Canada might not drop our interest rates if the US rates stay high. They like to kind of mirror them. Generally, when the US does an increase or decrease in their interest rates, we tend to do the same thing. We try to stay similar so it doesn't impact our dollar, because something can happen, and that's importing inflation. Now, importing inflation is, too much to talk about for this particular video. However, we don't want that to happen. So I did do some digging, and back in 1996, 1997, the Bank of Canada did diverge our interest rates from the US, and we did have a successful outcome. And there were a number of things that have to happen for us to have that successful outcome. One is that our inflation has to stay low. But the other thing that's really important is that our productivity and output needs to stay really high. And unfortunately, our productivity in Canada is just on a huge decline and decrease right now. I don't know why, but we tend to be like a way less productive country than we were a couple of years ago. So that might not play in our favor. However, all the experts are saying to expect a decrease in June. They don't think that we're going to have a whole bunch of decreases over the rest of the year. But that should help us out a little bit, especially with the Toronto market. Okay, so how is inflation affecting us here in the Toronto housing market? Okay, well, we saw sales volume. So the number of houses selling decreased by 4.5% in March. They think that that's the Toronto Real Estate Board thinks that that's because of Easter happening in March and getting those couple of days. Now, kind of funnily enough, I sold a house just over that weekend. We are also seeing that prices in housing up by about 1.3% on average versus last year. Our average home in GTA is $1,121,000. We have a lot of new listings. We have an increase in listings of over 18%, which is really good news. And the average time a house is sitting on the market is about 29 days. That's pretty healthy. When we were selling houses in 5 to 3 days, that's not as healthy, right? It's better to have them kind of lasting a little bit longer on the market. People have some time to think about it. What we're seeing is that buyers have adjusted to the new interest rates and are coming back onto the market. They're feeling more confident that they can buy a home. And then sellers, because they're listing more, are also expecting, they think that spring market's going to be really good this year. So they're going ahead and they're listing their homes. Now, if we do see that June rate increase, which we think we will, we're going to see the market pick up in pace. We're also still going to see prices increase. So if you are thinking of buying, now is your time to get out there and buy a home before those prices go up. I know the interest rates are high. What you can try to do is get like a really short-term mortgage or get into a variable. Obviously, talk about your situation with your mortgage broker so you know what you're doing. But you can do kind of a short-term strategy on the mortgage. That way, at least you lock the price in, because a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, your price is going to be the same. But your interest rate will definitely be changing. So your costs associated there may be changing, right? So cautiously expect that rate decrease in June. Now, what's happening in the Toronto market specifically? Okay, this is GTA numbers. A detached home is $1.7 million, which is pretty much flat in terms of price increase. Your semi is 1.3 million. Now that has actually gone up 4%. A townhome is $999,000 and your condo is 729. We know that condos have been pretty flat in terms of pricing because there's a lot of condos on the market. Now you might actually see more condos coming onto the market with these lovely new capital gains taxes that are coming up in June. You might see some investors starting to sell off quickly to try to get ahead of the market before that. We are also, something I thought was really interesting and you might find interesting, is that the majority of the homes that are being sold are in the $1 million to $1,250,000 range. And then the next category of homes that's being sold the most is the $1,250,000 to $1.5 million. We had one just a couple weeks ago in our brokerage that only stayed on the market for about 5 days, and it was just kind of a little bit over that price range, and we had a couple of bids. So there you have it. Those are your numbers and inflation update for Toronto GTA. My name is Marcy Verberg. I am here to help you. Please feel free to reach out with any questions, and I would love to answer them for you. Thank you.